U.S. President Donald Trump makes official his plan to impose reciprocal tariffs, fueling potential concerns for South Korea. Details of the plan are expected in April. South Korea's top diplomat kickstarts his in-person engagement with the Trump team this weekend in Munich. A separate three-way dialogue is also scheduled with Japan. Team Korea finishes 2025 Asian Winter Games with one of its best performances ever, adding more medals on the final day of the competition in curling and ice hockey events. It's February 14th, 8 p.m. in Seoul. This is Newscenter. Thank you for joining us. I'm Yoon Jung-min. The Trump administration will seek a tailored tariff response to its trade partners, imposing on them the same level of import duty they place on American products entering their markets. It's fueling potential concerns for South Korea, among others. Shin Ha-young leads us off.
U.S. President Donald Trump reinforced his push to impose reciprocal tariffs on global trade partners to match the tax rates that other countries impose on imports, fueling fears of a trade war. On Thursday, Trump signed a presidential memorandum ordering a comprehensive plan for reciprocal tariffs, aiming to deliver a level playing field for American workers.
On trade, I have decided, for purposes of fairness, that I will charge a reciprocal tariff, meaning whatever countries charge the United States of America, we will charge them, no more, no less.
The latest announcement comes as part of Trump's aggressive push for more balanced trade following recent 25% tariffs on steel and aluminum. Trump's tariffs would also target countries with non-tariff trade barriers such as subsidies, burdensome regulations, and value-added taxes. Another element to be considered is exchange rate policies in countries. Commerce Secretary Howard Lutnick said his team would be ready to hand a plan to the president by April 1st. Although South Korea has signed a free trade agreement with the U.S. and has eliminated most tariffs, Trump's plan to consider non-tariff barriers could lead to him imposing reciprocal tariffs on South Korea. South Korea posted a record trade surplus with the U.S. last year. Trump has also signaled potential tariffs on automobiles, with the White House also seeking to renegotiate the U.S. Chips and Science Act, which could affect South Korea's top two exports to the U.S., raising concerns about further economic impact. Despite fears of a global economic slowdown, Trump is expected to continue his hardline tariff policy. Shin Ha-young, Arirang News.
Foreign Minister Cho Tae-yeol will meet with his American and Japanese counterparts on the sidelines of a security meeting in Munich tomorrow. Our foreign affairs correspondent Bae Yoon-ji covers this agenda and its implications.
South Korea's foreign minister left for Germany on Friday afternoon to take part in the Munich Security Conference. There, Cho Tae-yeol will hold talks with his American and Japanese counterparts, Marco Rubio and Takeshi Iwaya, on Saturday local time. Seoul's foreign ministry said it hopes the meeting will become an opportunity to discuss ways to handle North Korea's nuclear threats and economic security issues. This is the first time that the three officials are meeting since U.S. President Donald Trump returned to the White House on January 20th. Pundits say this signifies that the trilateral cooperation will continue throughout Trump's second term in office. In a press conference on Friday, the Japanese foreign minister hinted that the three countries will reaffirm the importance of their partnership during the meeting. And also on Saturday, Cho will sit down for a separate bilateral meeting with Rubio, where they will likely address the two countries' alliance and ways to boost security cooperation. This is set to be another very important meeting for South Korea, especially at a time when the country is left without a leader, and as Trump's return poses a challenge for not only South Korea, but also for the rest of the world.
The security issue is the most important issue because Trump already mentioned several times that he has every intention to meet Kim Jong-un again. So South Korea should have a very close cooperation with the United States to how to deal with the denuclearization issue with the United States.
The meeting will reportedly be held for only about half an hour. So some experts believe there won't be enough time to talk about other issues that Seoul is concerned about, such as tariffs or sharing costs needed for American troops in South Korea. 배은지, Arirang News.
Elsewhere, the Palestinian militant group Hamas says it'll release 3 Israeli hostages tomorrow, as initially planned. Following talks with mediators from Egypt and Qatar, it has decided to go ahead with the release of the hostages, which will result in an exchange for Palestinian prisoners. Hamas had initially postponed the release, saying Israel was violating the ceasefire agreement. In response, Israel warned it would end the deal and resume fighting if the hostages were not released. The Constitutional Court has decided to add 1 more hearing to President Yoon Suk-yeol's impeachment trial after accepting his request for 3 key witnesses to be questioned, including Prime Minister Han Duck-soo. The court on Friday announced it has scheduled a 10th hearing date for next Thursday at 2 p.m., where the Prime Minister will stand witness. Han has previously stated the president did not hold a proper cabinet meeting before declaring martial law. Former Deputy Director of the National Intelligence Service, Hong Jang-won, was summoned last week by the National Assembly side, but will return to be questioned by Yoon's legal team. National Police Agency Commissioner General Cho Ji-ho will be questioned by both sides after missing 2 witness sessions due to health reasons. Yoon's hearing was supposed to end this week, but was extended as the bench needs more time to review evidence. Yoon's lawyers filed a petition to change the date of the 10th hearing. The team has previously complained it lacks time to prepare for twice-weekly hearings, given that the president is also preparing for a criminal trial. A fire broke out in one of the buildings of a luxury resort under construction in the city of Busan, killing at least 6 people and injuring dozens. Lee Soo-jin has the details.
A fire that broke out in a construction site of a luxury resort in Busan has left 6 people dead. According to the Busan Metropolitan City Fire and Disaster Headquarters, the fire started at 10:51 a.m. near the swimming pool on the first floor of one of the hotel buildings under construction in Kijang County on the eastern coast of Busan. Construction began at the Panyanchuri Haeundae Busan in 2022, with its opening scheduled for this year. While the Busan Metropolitan Police Agency has launched an investigation into the exact cause of the fire, the blaze reportedly started among stacks of insulation material. Around 20 minutes after ignition, the fire department had deployed all personnel from a fire station in its jurisdiction, as well as a helicopter. At 12 p.m., it raised its response to level 2, which means the mobilization of up to 80 firefighting units from 8 to 14 fire stations. The fire not only left 6 people dead, all of whom were working at the construction site, but also 25 who sustained minor injuries.
When we arrived at the scene, the fire was at its peak, and the 6 individuals were already unconscious by the time we began the rescue operation.
Acting President Choi Sang-mok ordered relevant agencies such as the Ministry of the Interior and Safety and the National Fire Agency to mobilize all available personnel and equipment. He also stated that the safety of the firefighters was of the utmost importance and that every effort should be made to ensure that no lives were lost during the search and rescue operations. Lee Soo-jin, Arirang News.
On the economic front, the authorities forecast a delay in the recovery of domestic demand as well as employment concerns, citing increasing risks at home and abroad. Cha Yoon-kyung has more.
The Ministry of Economy and Finance announced on Friday that there continue to be delays in the recovery of domestic demand and difficulties in employment in its latest Economic Green Book, a monthly report on the South Korean economy. The ministry stated that domestic demand had shown some signs of recovery in the 6 months since May last year. However, this slowed from November in contrast to its expectations and continues to be in the doldrums. The falls in the indicators for domestic demand, including consumption and investment, have been worsening due to national political crisis and potential U.S. tariffs. Retail sales fell 0.6% compared to last month and 3.3% comparing the same month last year. Negative figures in new employment for 2 months in a row are also drawing attention. The number of young people finding work decreased by 218,000, the largest drop since January 2021. The government concluded that economic sentiment has dampened due to the expansion of domestic and external uncertainties, raising downward pressure on growth. 차윤경, Arirang News.
Overall employment in Korea rebounded during the first month of this year, but by age and sector, the trend remained largely inconsistent. Moon Hye-ryun explains.
South Korea's job market saw a rebound last month, but employment challenges persist, particularly in the construction and manufacturing sectors. According to Statistics Korea's employment report released on Friday, the number of employed people aged 15 or older reached just under 27.9 million in January, marking a year-on-year increase of 135,000. This comes following a decline in December. By industry, the health and social welfare sector led job gains, followed by professional, scientific and technical services and the information and communication sector. However, jobs in construction saw the biggest decline since data collection began due to a slump in the construction sector, alongside a drop in manufacturing jobs for the 7th straight month, despite booming semiconductor exports. Retail and wholesale employment also saw losses, marking 11 consecutive months of decline. By age group, employment among those aged 60 or older saw the biggest increase, adding 340,000 jobs. In contrast, younger workers struggled. The number of employed individuals aged 15 to 29 dropped by 218,000, the sharpest decline since January 2021. With this latest data, the country's finance minister and acting president Choi Sang-mok pledged a series of measures to vitalize the country's job market during an economic policy meeting on Friday.
We will create over 1.2 million public sector jobs by the first quarter, the highest number ever, through expedited hiring.
State-run institutions plan to increase new recruitment from 20,000 last year to 24,000 this year and raise the proportion of long-term internships that are particularly favored by young job seekers. The government also signed an agreement with 6 major business associations to strengthen employment initiatives in the first half of the year. Beyond direct job creation, Choi outlined plans to allocate 7 trillion Korean won, just under $4.9 billion in social infrastructure budgets, and 17 trillion Korean won in public institution investments to support the struggling construction sector. Employment and Labour Minister Kim Mun-soo, who also attended the meeting, announced the launch of a platform next month to provide tailored job matching services to young job seekers looking to find work after graduation. Moon Hye-ryun, Arirang News.
Curtains are going down on the 9th Asian Winter Games in the Chinese city of Harbin tonight. Team Korea is set to finish the games with one of its best performances ever. Choi Soo-hyung has the latest.
On the last day after 2025 Winter Asian in Harbin, Team Korea added more medals. In the women's curling event, South Korea won the gold medal facing off against China. South Korea's team of Kim Eun-ji, Kim Min-ji, Kim Soo-ji, Seol Ye-eun and Seol Ye-ji beat China 7-2. The men's team had to make do with silver after losing to the Philippines in the final 3-5. This is the Philippines' first ever medal at the Winter Asian Games. The South Korean men's ice hockey team beat China to win the bronze medal. With a 5-2 victory, Team Korea finishes on the podium for the 4th consecutive time since the 2007 Changchun Games. Although they lost to Japan in a shootout during the semi-finals, they earned a come-from-behind win against China in the bronze medal match. Meanwhile, the women's team lost to Kazakhstan and finished in 4th place. On Thursday, 2 figure skaters made history, winning gold medals in both the men's and women's figure skating single event. Male figure skater Ta Junhwan and female figure skater Kim Taeyeon ranked 2nd after the short program. However, both skaters stood on the top podium following flawless free skating programs. Ta finished with a final tally of 281.69 points, while Kim scored 219.44 points overall, a personal best, beating 3-time world champion Kaori Sakamoto of Japan. In summary, South Korea finished the Winter Asian Games this year with 16 gold medals, 15 silver and 14 bronze, for 2nd place behind China in the rankings. After surpassing Team Korea's all-time best gold medal tally, it secured a total of 45 medals. The 9th edition of the Winter Asian Games in Harbin ends on Friday with a closing ceremony at 9 p.m. Korean time. Choi Soo-hyung, Arirang News.
It's Valentine's Day today, and for those of you here in South Korea seeking perhaps a sweet traditional twist for this day, our An Sung-jin was out and about to take a look.
On Valentine's Day, February 14th, it's common to see stores with large displays of chocolate or candy. But for those that are looking for something different, Korean traditional sweets can be the answer. Boxes of colorful, visually appealing sweets. These are known as Dasik. A popular snack during the Joseon dynasty, Dasik was also one of King Jeongjo's favorites. The cookie is made by kneading grain powder with honey. Most of the ingredients consist of all natural ingredients. For example, grain powder can be made with grains, beans, sesame seeds, and Barbary fig. These powders are beaten into finer particles and mixed with honey to create a dense dough texture. Once the consistency is there, they're put into shaping tools to create delicate patterns of flowers, the Taeguk emblem from the national flag, or other traditional images. These days, shapes can be formed through a simple version of stamps. Nowadays, these Korean traditional sweets can be overshadowed by modern desserts. That's why Yoon works on keeping these alive.
I teach these classes with the hope that not only can people these days easily access our traditions, but also to blend aspects of Korean tradition and modernity in harmony.
So for those who aren't familiar with these traditional sweets yet, why not give them a try? An Sung-jin, Arirang News.
Friday means it's time for our weekly arts and culture segment. We're joined by our culture correspondent, Song Yujin, in the studio. Welcome, Yujin.
Happy Valentine's Day, Jungmin.
Happy Valentine's Day. What do you have for us today?
Well, Jungmin, there's a saying, don't be afraid to try anything new because it might just become the best thing you ever do. That's a really inspirational quote. And here in Korea, there is a concert that is taking place today and tomorrow that really proves that this statement is true. So for today, I have a sneak peek of a bold fusion of 2 very different musical worlds. Take a look.
This 2007 hit by SM Entertainment's girl group Girls' Generation, Into the New World, has jumped into a new world, the world of classical music. Since 2020, SM Entertainment and the Seoul Philharmonic Orchestra have teamed up with 8 classical renditions of songs by artists such as SHINee, Red Velvet, and aespa. Now they've brought the world's first ever K-pop orchestra live concert to Seoul.
It's the first of a kind in that the entire setlist performed by the orchestra is K-pop songs. So we're very proud of that.
Performing over a dozen K-pop songs is a new experience for everyone, starting with arranging the music. The key was to keep the original while adding originality.
When arranging, we sample works by famous classical music composers. We looked for pieces that would blend well with the original K-pop track to stay true to the original and highlight the classical elements.
Then it was practice, practice, and more practice until every note hit the mark.
We watched the original performance videos and compared them to the sheet music. Our goal was to bring the lyrics, rhythms, melodies, and emotional depth of the K-pop tracks into our orchestral performance.
Finding this new groove wasn't easy. The orchestra's associate concertmaster compares it to learning a new language.
Because we're so used to playing all the, normal classics, Beethoven, Mahler, Brahms, and then now, all these K-pop songs. So it's been a little bit, kind of like challenging in a way.
But in the end, they discovered the beauty of crossing genres and unlocking new potential.
We're taking K-pop's flashy performance and transforming it into something you can appreciate with just your ears. We're not just playing melodies. We're reimagining K-pop as 21st century orchestral music. Even if you're not familiar with the original songs, you'll find something to enjoy.
Two genres worlds apart have come together to strike a chord, creating something groundbreaking, making classics trendy, and turning trends into timeless classics.
Eugene, it sounds like the audience will get the best of both worlds. You mentioned in your report this concert is taking place today and tomorrow. Can you tell us more about what to expect?
Of course. So the first concert today, today's one is happening right now as we speak. It started at 8 p.m. Korean time and it's taking place at the Seoul Art Center, which is just a 10-minute walk from our station. And the concert for tomorrow, it will move to the Lotte Concert Hall that is located in Seoul's Songpago district. And it will start at 5 p.m. Now, tickets are available both online and at the venue, so you can still buy them. And SPO will be performing 16 to 17 songs by SM artists every night. And what's notable is that Chinese member Minho, he will be hosting the two concerts, while Red Velvet's Wendy, she will be performing at Saturday's concert with the orchestra, performing her solo songs.
Eugene, but for those who can't make it, is there any other way? Any way they can still experience this collaboration?
Luckily, there is for our international viewers because SM Classics just released its first full album last month titled Across the World. So this album has a total of 14 songs. It's available on major music platforms like Spotify, iTunes, and Apple Music. And the songs include some that are being performed at these concerts today and tomorrow. So when asked which songs that they would like to recommend or stand out, conductor Kim mentioned aespa's Black Mamba and Chinese Sherlock, while the arrangers picked Red Velvet's Feel My Rhythm. Now, all three are on the album, and you can hear them live at the concerts as well. And there's more exciting collaboration to come because this September, Seoul Philharmonic will collaborate with Chung Jae-il, the composer behind the Squid Game soundtrack, to perform his latest works. So it'll be really fascinating to see how the orchestra reinterprets contemporary music once again.
Mark your calendar. Thank you for the report, Eugene.
My pleasure.
With mild westerly wind blowing, the daytime temperature in Seoul rose up to 10 degrees Celsius today, making it as mild as mid-March. The weather will continue to be warmer than usual throughout the weekend. The temperature in Seoul will stay at nearly 10 degrees during the day, exceeding the average temperatures. Meanwhile, skies will be covered with dust again. Due to the influx of fine dust from overseas, the air will become dusty tonight for the Seoul metropolitan area and the Chungcheongdo provinces. The ultrafine dust tomorrow will be at bad levels in most parts of the country. Tomorrow, Daejeon and Daegu will start off at -2 degrees, Seoul and Gwangju at 0 degrees. Daily highs will top out at 9 degrees in Seoul and Gwangju and 13 degrees in Gyeongju. From tomorrow morning to early Sunday morning, more rain is expected on the south coast and Jeju Island. That's all for Korea. Here are the weather conditions around the world.
And that is Newscenter for tonight. Thanks for watching. A panel session up next.